Welcome along to Rangers Report, and what an Easter weekend we've got to look back on. We've got the victory against Birmingham City, the victory against Swansea City, 2 centre-backs scoring 3 goals. We've got that Andy Sinton reaction to Jimmy Dunn's screamer. We'll also be looking ahead to Sheffield Wednesday. We'll be reviewing Tiger Feet Walk number 14, which is upcoming. We'll also be catching up with Morgan Fox. It's all right here on Rangers Report, brought to you in association with RFI. Well, since what an Easter weekend it was, we went into it a point above the drop, hoping we could pick up some points to potentially increase that gap. But I don't think in our wildest dreams we could have imagined that we'd pick up 6 points and increase that gap to 6 points.
Yeah, it was quite a brilliant weekend. To win the 2 games, you know, it's never easy when the games come thick and fast like they do. But given where we were before the Birmingham game, you know, the proximity of the table that we were in, and Birmingham, even Swansea, you know, 6 points, absolutely huge. And Marty, the boys deserve a hell of a lot of credit. What
did you make of the overall performance?
For Birmingham, I thought we started really well. I think I said on commentary that I think we'd be disappointed to not have gone in ahead. You know, if you look at Elise's header, Lucas unlucky from Kenneth's cross that hits the crossbar, a couple of other bits and bobs, they never really threatened. So you go in at 0-0, they're going to come out a little bit stronger. They score against the run of play probably. But once again, we see the mentality, the desire, the determination, the quality that's been installed since Marty's come, that once we're behind, able to get back into the game, but not just get back into the game, go on and win it.
Yeah, we made, like you say, we made a good start. We had the Illich chair header, we had Lucas Anderson hitting the crossbar. He also had a chance that went over as well. But throughout that, certainly at 0-0, there was such a nervousness around the entire stadium. When you're on the pitch, can you sense that nervousness? Because it was such a huge game for QPR, it was a huge game for Birmingham, and you could just sense there was almost this constant apprehension.
Yeah, I think you made a good point, but I think actually being on the pitch is the best place to be.
You're away from it.
Rather than sitting in the stand, because when you're on the pitch, you can do something about it. I can only speak as a player.
Yeah.
I know I'd rather be on the pitch or in the stands. I'd rather be on the pitch, but given the situation, given where we've come from, what was at stake, what could happen, teams playing each other, etc., the magnitude of the 3 points was massive in there for everyone to see.
Yeah, it shows how big the game was as well, that during that 3-minute spell where we were behind to Birmingham City, we actually dropped into the bottom 3. When you look now, a game and a half on, and we're 6 clear of it. During that 3-minute spell, we actually dropped into it. What about the reaction from the QPR players to draw level so quickly and almost not allow Birmingham to get a foothold, having taken the lead?
Well, that was the key point for me, crucial for me. What was the 3 minutes?
Yeah.
You know, to dust yourself down, get rid of that disappointment, which you always get when you concede, to refocus. You know there's plenty of time, but you've got to get back in the game, and we did. Delighted for Cookie, you know, his first goal of the season. Little deflection, but I think I said on comms, don't care. Gets us back at 1-1. Then from then on, you sensed the mood in the stadium, certainly from the Rangers fans, like, come on, we go on and win this. And
whisper it quietly, scoring from set pieces for that leveller.
Something I know they've been working on at on the training ground. Hasn't quite happened until recently, but you know there's a lot of work goes into it. It's about your delivery, it's about first contacts, and it's about what happens after that. You know, so now really, really pleasing. And Steve, you know, he gets 2 bites of the cherry. The first one comes back to him, and he readjusts and strikes it, and I say it's a good finish. You can see what it meant to the players, see what it meant to the fans in particular, and from then on, I'm thinking, come on, let's go and get this win.
At that point, did you feel that the win was in us?
Yeah.
Why?
Very much so. I just think from what's been installed in the team, we've done it time and time again. We've come from behind. If we go right to the end, if you look how many times we've clawed back deficits and, as I say, got back into the game, then won games, and that's credit to everyone. But it's what's been installed here over the last 3, 4, 5 months.
And going into 6 minutes of injury time, it started with a free kick for Birmingham City on the edge of the area, and the silence around the stadium was deafening, because I suppose it's just that sort of nature in a football fan that you just sit there and you think, this is going to go in, isn't it?
Well, I was thinking the worst. You know, it's, 20 yards out, a central, 2 players over it, which one's going to hit it? But he hits it quite well through the gap, but Asmir's right behind it, does great to hold it. Looks a comfortable save, but it's not that easy because it skids just in front of him. There's 2 Birmingham players on the prowl, but he holds it, and from then we go up the other end and win the game.
Talk us through what happened after that. So Asmir's got...
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you're on commentary duty. You went running off down the gantry. But it was a stunning goal from Jimmy. I think a lot has been spoken about and said. It was an incredible strike. I think Jimmy's all-round performance deserves a lot of credit. Do you think?
I think since he's been moved to right back, I think it was after the Stoke game, that Marty made the change down at Bristol City. I think he's gone in at right back. He's played there before, but he's done remarkably well. Technically, Jimmy is, I can say this, probably a lot better than people maybe think. And I think that showed at full back, because he hasn't just been a 6'3" centre half playing right back. If you look what he's contributed on the ball and going forward, I think he's done brilliant. And he spent a long time out the team, so he deserves everything that he gets.
And talk us through your celebration, because we've all seen it. We've all enjoyed it.
Oh, wow. This game of football does strange things to you, doesn't it? But, that's just a mixture of the game, what was at stake, where we are, what it means to everyone at the club, the fans who've stuck with the team through thick and thin, but certainly can see the direction that we're going in. So it was a mixture of everything, coming so late, even though that's still probably 4 or 5 minutes and you got to refocus after that. I thought it was probably the winning goal and what would it mean to us, and it was a little bit of, what a goal. It's a goal worthy of winning any game at any level, anywhere in the world. It was quite simply stunning.
And we'll pop outside to catch up with Morgan Fox shortly. But also what was interesting, obviously your celebrations in the gantry, the celebrations on the pitch, the celebrations in the stands. But what I thought was really interesting was the celebration of the QPR dugout. Of course you expect it, but seeing those players not involved and the level of delight on their faces, Morgan included, shows what a together group that we've got here.
I think that shows everything about the current group. There is a togetherness. People say it's a squad game now, and it is, because there's rotation, there's people at the team through a little bit of form, illness, etc., etc., etc. But everyone's to play their part, and that was quite telling for me. Again, we've seen it over recent weeks. People have come off the bench and made a big impact, scoring goals, making goals, but the reaction of the bench, and the reaction was in the stadium. Loftus Road just exploded, didn't it? But yeah, what a moment. But you quickly got to go from the ultimate high to, reset, and we've still got 3-4 minutes to see out here, and I thought they did that remarkably well. Yeah,
absolutely. And the R's went from 4 points clear after that game to head into the Swansea match. Could they increase that gap? Indeed they could. Steve Cook went from not scoring in 4.5 years to getting 2 in 3 days with this strike.
20 minutes to go as he floats it in towards the back post. Dunn wins the first header. Cook on the volley! Yes! And it's that combination. Jimmy Dunn to Steve Cook. The 2 goal scorers against Birmingham City, linking up this time. And it is a thunderbolt into the back of the Swansea net. And with 20 minutes to go, it's Rangers 1, Swansea 0.
And since what a strike it was as well, because it was a very different game at the Swansea.com stadium, but it was another fine finish from our cultured centre-back.
It was a brilliant finish. I did speak to Steve before the Birmingham game, and he did say he was normally good for a 4 or 5 a season, so we'll come on then. And got his first one against Birmingham. But the one at Swansea, it's a really good strike. It's difficult skill. It's a well-worked routine from a set play again. Lucas, decent delivery. Jimmy pulls away, heads it back. But Steve, what I like about him, as the ball's coming to him, he takes a step backwards to readjust his feet. And great technique, clinical finish, brilliant goal. Maybe not going to be talked about as much as Jimmy's, but equally as important.
And like I say, it was a very different game, very different performance at Swansea to what we produced against Birmingham City. We started the game very well. Paul Smith had the chance across goal. Ilias Chair had a great opportunity that was cleared off the line. But as the game wore on, Swansea grew more and more into it, and we had to be really focused and switched on.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up. I thought the first 15 minutes we were on top. A couple of opportunities. They have a couple of bits and bobs. Ilias's chance cleared off the line, probably the big moment. But as it got towards half time, I thought they had a big chance at the far post. Asmir makes a really good save. He makes a save. Timing, I think, hits from 20 yards, makes a good save there. Second half, I did say in commentary, I don't think we've started the second half very well. They pushed us back. But it's a type of game where sometimes you go away from home, you're not quite at your best or as good as we have been. But then it's about getting something from the game. It's about defending your box, getting bodies on the line, blocks, relying on your goalkeeper to make a couple of decent saves, and having, probably for the first time in many, many games and many weeks, a little bit of good fortune that favours us. Cookie then goes and wins it. Absolutely brilliant win and a great weekend. It
was, absolutely. QPR now have only lost 2 of their last 13 league fixtures. The last time that was achieved was way back in 2015-16, our first season out of the Premier League after our most recent spell in the top flight. It shows that obviously we're picking up these wins like the back-to-back, but it shows that we're now very difficult to beat.
Again, credit to Marty, Zabi, all the staff and all the players who've, since the Millwall game, 13 games, 2 defeats, been absolutely incredible. The introduction of the new guys in January has been key as well. That's given us that competition for places, it's given us that depth, it's given us that quality, and I think that's shown. And it's no coincidence the boys are putting in performances week after week after week and getting the results, and long may that continue.
Morgan Fox was part of the back line that helped us register that victory against Swansea. Difficult situation for him to suddenly come in. He's not played 90 minutes since very early on in the season, but how impressed were you by him?
Well, first of all, impressed with his own performance, but delighted for him, because I'm fortunate I'm at the training ground on odd occasions during the week, and I see Morgan, I see what he's all about, I see how he handles himself. Any player will just want to play, but Morgan understands that people in his position have been playing really, really well. And as any pro, but certainly as an older pro, you've just got to wait and be ready, support the boys and the team as best you can, as much as you can, and wait for your opportunity. And I think that sums up exactly what Morgan's done. So delighted for him, to come in, play as a left back, be part of a winning team away from home, clean sheet. Brilliant.
And a player of your ilk won't be used to being on the bench, waiting for your opportunity, but no doubt it came your way later on in your career. How did you find that? Mentally, is it difficult? Because it's a strange situation where you want to play, but you want the people who are in the team to do well for the team, but while they're doing that, you're not going to get your chance.
I think that comes with experience, because I had that when I was younger, and you get really impatient, and as you get older, you recognise that is the way, and you've just got to train every day as best you can. You've got to actually do that a little bit extra if need be, and you just got to wait, and you wait for your chance in the right moment for the right reasons. And I think, again, got to sing Morgan's praises. He's done that. He's a super pro, and I think we've got some good experienced pros in the building now, which is really important. It's really important when you're going well. There's really more important when you're struggling a little bit, because they'll have seen everything, and I see it. I speak to some of the lads, we see it in their performances. They've been absolutely magnificent, but you probably know what I'm going to say here. There's still some work to do. They'll know that, and that work starts on Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're now going to pop out from the warmth of this training ground building to the cold of outside to catch up with Morgan Fox. Well, Morgan, thanks very much for joining us at a windswept Heston. We're just talking now about the victory, well, the double victory, but particularly the one
on Monday against Swansea. How pleased were you to come in and play your part, first of all?
Yeah, definitely. I think as a professional footballer, you want to be out there on the pitch and playing in the games. That's the best part. Yeah, I've had to buy my time a little bit. The boys have been doing really well, so I've been supporting them as much as I can. But of course, I want to be on the pitch, and to be able to play my part, clean sheet and a win, it doesn't get better than that.
Like you say, you've had to bide your time. How have you found that? Obviously, for the first half of the season, you had that injury that you've overcome, and you've been available for selection since the turn of the year. You've had to wait for that opportunity. That's probably something not particularly used to for you. How have you found it?
Yeah, tough. I think, like I said, it's almost a different mindset because you have to be ready to play, but probably knowing throughout the week that you're not going to on the weekend because, like I said, when the boys are performing, especially, you look at the back four, Jake, Cookie, Ken, Jimmy's come in and obviously done really well. You don't want to change that when the boys are doing well. The same way as if I was in there and I was playing every week, I wouldn't want to come out. You get into a nice rhythm and getting results. It's a tough one to change that unit, definitely.
Can I just ask you, Morgan, sorry to keep talking about the injury.
Yeah.
It's almost a double whammy because you're injured with a bad one when a new manager comes in.
Yeah.
So you obviously want to show the manager what you can do, what you can contribute, but you can't. Mm-hmm. Is that tough, and how do you overcome that?
Definitely tough. And I think also makes it slightly tougher that I didn't necessarily know the manager before, and he probably didn't know me coming from a different league. So there was no relationship there before, and it's tough. So you have to build that up. But he was really good with me straight away. Came in, we had some good chats, and he said he knew about my game and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was tough, especially because it's so obvious to see that the system has changed so much since the start of the season. So not only did I have to get myself back fit, but it was to learn the new game plan and system, and yeah, it was tough.
We'll talk about the Swansea game in a minute, but I've got to ask you about those celebrations. Jimmy Dunn's worldie. I don't think anyone expected that. Fair play to Jimmy for pulling it off. And what was really interesting was the reaction of the dugout. Not only the manager, the assistant, the coaches, the subs, but the subs who weren't involved. Yourself, you came flying out as if you'd scored the goal. Does that show the togetherness that exists there? Because it was genuine delight that you had in your face.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of everything. I think everyone knows Jimmy's a big character in and around the dressing room. So for him to go and do that, it was incredible, and what a goal. And he'll tell you he does it every day in training. I can assure you he doesn't. But yeah, no, it was. And look, this stage of the season, points are really important. We were looking at just a draw and possibly nothing, and then to come away with the win right at the end. It doesn't get better than last minute winners. They're just. And like you said, everyone jumped up. I think Kenny went shooting off. That's probably the quickest he's moved all season. But yeah, everyone's together, and in the dressing room afterwards, it was a great atmosphere.
And I tell you what, the rain has held off for so long, but unfortunately, we're going to plough through in these conditions because that's the nature of the Championship. Yeah. And we turn to Swansea in terms of your involvement, coming in, playing 90 minutes for the first time since September. You can be as prepared as you like, but you former players always say nothing prepares you for getting match fit apart from match minutes. How did you find it?
Yeah, there's nothing that prepares you for it. I think also in my situation there's been 21s games, but they've coincided with our fixtures, so I've not been able to get myself in there, which I probably would have liked to have done. Yeah. So literally it is just every day working hard on the pitch, even off the pitch now. I think you have to do so much away from the pitch. But yeah, nothing's the same, Andy will tell you, as getting on the pitch and in the game, because it's so unpredictable, and that's the beauty of it.
And you were just saying to Since off camera there that while you've been working your way back to fitness, you can only speak highly and well of the rehab that you've received.
Yeah, definitely. I think the team in there. I was working really closely with George, but the other lads, Daryl, Jasper, and now Alex as well, and the doc who's obviously moved on. They were brilliant with me, and we set out a 12-week plan. There's a bit of contingency in there, but I was bang on 12 weeks and I was back and ready, so we didn't cut any corners, and still cracking on with it now. And
you had to be fit for that game against Swansea because they keep the ball so well, and I'd imagine, you guys will tell me, how mentally draining is that, because you have to stay so focused?
Yeah, well, the way they play, sorry Morgan, the way they play, they played that way for a number of years, and they try and tie your legs by keeping the ball shifting from side to side, and that's where it's so important. Morgan will tell you as a defender that you keep your distances between each other, you keep switched on, you're focused, and you demand from your teammates in and around you.
Definitely, I think our game plan, we tried to set up similar as we did against Leicester, similar sort of team, possession-based team. It's more mentally tiring, probably, and like Andy said, they shift it side to side. You just lots of talking, especially across the back line, and probably what we didn't realise is they would cross the ball as much as they did. We knew they would cross it, but I think it was something like 28 crosses in the box, probably 2 clear opportunities they had out of 28. So it's credit to us back there. I think we defended it really well, but like Andy said, it's all about staying switched on. I think I don't know what time it was, but the one that hit the post at the end, it would have been horrible, but it's a bit of luck that we probably deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. And what have Martin, also Xavi, done in terms of making us so defensively solid since they came in? Because since they have come in, and credit to Jack Supple for this stat, only Leeds United have conceded fewer goals in the Championship than QPR from when Martin and Xavi arrived. What have they changed?
Yeah, a lot. Like I said, when I was out, the whole system changed, and it starts from the front, the way you want to press, but we don't necessarily go after teams high up the pitch. We wait for them to come a little bit, and then we set a trap and try and pick them off. And it starts from the front, and it starts with 8 and 10s, getting very technical, but it's all about the jump, and then when one person goes, that we all go together.
Okay, and we're just going to ask you about Sheffield Wednesday, then we'll let you get into the warm. We need you fit for the weekend.
It reminds me of Sheffield this weather anyway.
And Sheffield Wednesday, obviously, it's a big game for us. We've now moved from 1 point clear going into the Easter weekend to 6 clear. There's still work to do, and Sheffield Wednesday will come, and their situations, it takes that they will give it everything because they've got nothing to lose. How important is it that QPR realise that the job is still far from done?
Yeah, it's very important. We're focusing on ourselves, and we understand the position that we're in, but you look at the games that we've had and we've got coming up. Birmingham were around us, Swansea around us, Wednesday also around us. It's a cliche, but they're 6-pointers because you take 3 off them, and then you also gain 3 on them. So they're massive, and we realise that we're close now because games are running out, but realistically, we're not trying to stay up. We want to see how high we can finish. That's where we're at now. I've still got friends at Wednesday, and especially Andy knows as well. We were talking the city and the people, and they'll be fighting like anything to get out of the situation that they're in.
Excellent. And from your point of view, since I suppose it's where the experienced players really come to the fore, because we've heard from Asmir, we've heard from Steve Cook, heard from Morgan there as well, and it's all about making sure we stay switched on and complete the job.
Very much so. What we've got now, we've got a good dressing room, we've got some really good experienced pros there. Even when you're not in the team, you do your bit for the team, you get around, you support, you wait for your chance, and when your chance comes, you take it. So we wish you and the boys luck for the weekend, and let's put on the performance and see if we can get another 3 points.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you what, the fancy 10s and wingers wouldn't stay out in these positions as defenders do. Morgan, thanks very much for joining us.
Inside next time, please. Thank you. Cheers.
Top man, thanks very much. Cheers. Well, we won't be doing that again too often, since let's stick to doing these interviews in here.
Whose idea was that?
He was fine, wasn't he? He's like, no problem, I can stay out here all day. It's only a bit of rain. Not built for that life, I've got to say. But what's interesting is just before we went into that interview, you were talking about the job's not done, and Morgan Fox, I guess, demonstrating his experience as well. But like I said in the interview, Steve Cook and Asmir Begovic both said similar post-match as well, that while it has been great to pick up those back-to-back wins, and the table is looking a lot healthier than it has done for a number of months, 46 points is very unlikely to keep you up, so there is still work to do.
100%, and Saturday for me is people might not quite get this, I think it's a dangerous game. But let's jump back one. From where we were to where we are now has been superb, but worked incredibly hard to get there. But it's not done yet. We're not safe by any stretch of the imagination. We've still got work to do. We've still got performances to put in, and there's still points to be earned and get, and we need to get that sooner rather than later.
And like Morgan mentioned, Marty, Xavi, the coaching staff, in terms of the changes they've made to make us defensively more solid, and it's bearing fruit. Those changes that he was describing were really interesting.
I think the whole group deserves a lot of credit for that, starting at the front. But again, the way Marty gets his team set up to concede 25 goals in 26 games since he came in the position that we're are. Normally, if you're down in the bottom, you're getting beat 3s and 4s a couple of times, But I can only think of 2 games where we've been really outperformed. Asmir in certain games has had a save or 2, but he, for me, hasn't been overworked, which is credit to what happens in front room. Back 4 has been superb. It's been quite stable over the last 8 or 9 games. Everyone's contributed. I think there's been some big performances. The new players coming in, as I've already said, it's been a real team squad effort to get to where we are now. But keep saying but. We've still got some work to do. Saturday, Sheffield Wednesday, they'll come to us. They have to win. I think they play us. They play Stoke. They play Blackburn as well as West Brom, Norwich, and Sunderland. I think so that we would probably do the same. You do have a look at the league table. When you're looking at the league table, you tend to forget people who are in form, and you probably go, these are the 3 games that we'll target to get maximum points. So they'll come. They've almost, well, of course they've got something to lose, but they'll come at us. They'll open up. We need to be ready, but we've just got to focus on ourselves, Paul. We've just got to keep doing what we're doing every day, and knowing Marty and his staff the way I do, and the players. It's Monday. Nelly said Saturday there. Monday will be not forgotten about, but that'll well and truly be parked, and they'll be on to the next game, which is the right thing to do.
Sheffield Wednesday picked up 1 point from their last 4 games, having had a run of 4 straight wins. So they'll be disappointed with that recent run, but they've demonstrated under Danny Roll that they are a really tough opposition.
Well, he's done really well since he came in October, because they got off to a horrendous start, and they were written off long. Yeah,
they were 10 points adrift in November.
Yeah, they were written off, and I was probably going to back that up by probably so were we. But Danny Roll coming in, resurgent. They beat us up there. I think we contrived to lose the game rather than they beat us 1-0 up. Should go 2-0 up. Then they scored 2 in the dying moments of the game. That'll have no bearing on Saturday. But what I'm saying is they just kept going. They've had some really good results. They're dangerous. They'll bring a lot of fans to support them. So we've got to be ready. We've got to be focused, which we will be, and we've got to go and perform again.
Absolutely. And one of my concerns when I saw you celebrating Jimmy's goal, when you went herring off down the gantry, was I hope you don't pull a calf because you've got Tiger Feet 14 to come. How are preparations going for that? Are you just doing doggies up and down the gantry to prepare for your 10-mile walk?
If Jimmy scores another one, I'll quite happily do that again. But no preparations are going fine for Tiger Feet walk. All joking aside, Tiger Feet walk. The Tiger Cubs. It's a brilliant cause that the club do. It's something that I really look forward to in the calendar when Andy says when they're doing it and what the walk is. So again, Saturday we do it all again. Look forward to it. Can't wait.
Yeah, 10-mile walk. It's starting right here at Heston Training Ground. I think you're going via Gunnersbury Park as well, en route to the stadium. And like you say, all the funds raised for Tiger Cubs and to enable us to continue the coaching that's provided for them, which is fantastic. And it's a project that QPR fans have really taken to their heart. And obviously on Saturday, the Cubs and everyone who involved in the walk will be going out onto the pitch before the game. So that's something to look forward to, but also a great initiative. Bring a quid for the Tiger Cub kids. So just bring £1. If everyone does that, that's another 15 grand towards the total. They're looking for 20 grand. Everyone brings £1 this coming Saturday. There's going to be donation buckets outside as you enter the turnstiles. So bring a quid for the Tiger Cub kids and help us to be able to provide that continued coaching for our fantastic Tiger Cubs. Well, since a very final point, Saturday is a huge game. Plymouth to come after that. So 2 huge fixtures. As much as we've enjoyed watching the game, re-watching the game, watching the highlights, it is important now that is parked and we complete the job. We've put ourselves in a good place. Yeah. But like we say, and it almost sounds a little bit boring to say it, but the job isn't done. It's so important that we maximise this opportunity now.
I think that has to be the message, and that will be the message. Football sometimes mirrors life. It can change very, very quickly from good to bad and bad to good. So we got to be ready. We got to focus. Take the opportunity once again to thank the fans for their incredible support they've given the team over recent months, recent years, but certainly recent months, both home and away, coming in the numbers. Absolutely phenomenal. Don't underestimate the part they've played and the part they still will have to play to making sure we achieve what we need to achieve.
Fingers crossed. Since, thanks as ever for your time, and thanks for joining us on Rangers Report.